Hello there, you're watching Nightline with me, Sabrina Zainal. News making the headlines. Political stability, policy clarity vital for attracting investors, says Prime Minister. And 15-member UNSC adopts resolution for humanitarian pauses in Gaza. Good morning. Political stability and clarity in policies are vital for any economy to thrive. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said while clarity and consistency in policies are required, the effective implementation of policies also plays a vital role in wooing investors.
We are on the right track to propel the economy in the country in the next few years. Very ambitious, and I think based on the track record in the last 6-7 months, we can achieve that.
The Prime Minister said this during a question and answer session at the 30th Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation APEC CEO Summit in San Francisco, USA. He added Malaysia is very fortunate to have drawn investments from China, the United States, Europe, and also from the region that have exceeded expectations. Anwar also reiterated that a country must remain tough when it comes to policy implementation and tackling corruption, especially against the way of doing business that squanders public funds to enrich those in power. Now, Anwar also had a meeting with several technology giants on the sidelines of the APEC summit, which ended with pledges of greater investments in Malaysia. Among them was Innovix Corporation, an advanced silicon battery company, which has committed to invest 5.8 billion ringgit in Malaysia over a period of 15 years.
Keyakinan mereka kepada Malaysia kerana pada hemat mereka sistem politik stabil dan dasar jelas, dan kelihatan ada keupayaan kita untuk mempercepatkan proses kelulusan yang akan memberikan keyakinan kepada pelabur.
Anwar added that the government's commitment to ensuring a speedy approval process for investors has enabled the country to attract a record number of foreign direct investments. Meanwhile, Innovix Chief Operating Officer Ajay Maratha said the company's decision to choose Malaysia was due to the country's deep pool of technical talent, business-friendly environment, and close proximity to its vendors. Innovix will also establish its first high-volume manufacturing facility in Pulau Pinang, which is expected to be fully operational by April next year, in line with its global expansion strategy. During the session with the tech giants, the Prime Minister also met with TikTok Chief Executive Officer Shou Zi Chu, who briefed Anwar on its investment plans via its parent company, ByteDance, in data center facilities in Malaysia. Currently, there are about 1 million online sellers in Malaysia using the TikTok Shop platform, with 98% comprising small and medium enterprises, SMEs. The Prime Minister also had a meeting with Microsoft Asia, represented by its president Ahmad Mazhari, who shared the company's plan to go beyond its investment in creating the first data center region in Malaysia. It is now looking to make new additional investments in Malaysia by expanding the original data center region and developing further capacity outside of Kuala Lumpur. This will enable Malaysia to be a focal point for cloud computing and related frontier technologies such as AI within the region. Anwar also received a courtesy call from TPG founding partner, Executive Chairman and Director James G. Jim Coulter. TPG, a global private equity firm, has invested a total of 13.8 billion ringgit in Malaysia across the healthcare, education and consumer sectors. In another development, the Malaysian government and Google announced a strategic collaboration to create inclusive growth opportunities for more Malaysians and homegrown companies in the fast-growing digital economy. The collaboration aims to help businesses of all sizes advance their digital competitiveness through skilling programs, investment in digital infrastructure, responsible artificial intelligence AI innovation, and cloud-first policies, as well as provide upskilling opportunities for 300,000 Malaysians by 2026, especially digital training opportunities for people from all backgrounds. The announcement was made following a meeting between Anwar and Google President and Chief Investment Officer Ruth Porat, along with senior officers of the tech giant. According to Google, these initiatives build on the investments the company has made in Malaysia over the last 12 years. In 2022 alone, the company's products and programs supported more than 47,900 jobs, besides contributing over 13 billion ringgit in economic benefits to local businesses. Google is also seeking to increase its investments in Malaysia, including establishing a data center. Next, the government is looking at improving the Self-Employment Social Security Scheme Act, particularly in terms of widening the coverage in unforeseen circumstances for self-employed individuals to provide more comprehensive protection. Deputy Human Resources Minister Datuk Mustafa Sakmud said the matter is being studied with the Social Security Organisation, SOCSO, under the Employees Social Security Act and Employment Insurance System Act, as well as other relevant regulations.
Setakat 10 November 2023, seramai 793,116 orang bekerja sendiri aktif mencarum di bawah skim keselamatan sosial pekerjaan sendiri. Bagi tempoh yang sama, sebanyak 4,334 kes tuntutan telah diluluskan yang melibatkan jumlah faedah sebanyak 24.69 juta.
He said this during the question time session at the Dewan Rakyat on Thursday. Mustafa added that the ministry is also actively working on raising awareness among the self-employed group, especially those in the gig industry, on the importance of social security protection for their well-being and that of their families. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, will launch the National Anti-Corruption Strategy, NACS 2024 to 2029, in mid-2024 to replace the National Anti-Corruption Plan 2019 to 2023, which will conclude at the end of this year. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azambaki said NACS will focus more on the effectiveness of preventing corruption and improving governance and integrity in the civil service administration, as well as government-linked companies.
Seperti dahulu ada 115 selama tempoh 5 tahun. Berdasarkan pengalaman yang lepas, saya merasakan kemungkinan dia akan kurangkan lagi inisiatif itu, tetapi yang lebih penting di sini ialah impactful. Sama ada dia boleh meningkatkan governance dan juga integriti dalam perkhidmatan awam dan juga syarikat-syarikat berkaitan dengan kerajaan.
He said so far about 62% of the 115 NACP 2019 to 2023 initiatives have been implemented, and the rest of the initiatives may be included in NACS 2024 to 2029. He said this after delivering the keynote address at the World Anti-Corruption Conference 2023, organized by the International Strategy Institute in Jakarta, Indonesia, on Thursday. Meanwhile, Azam said the MACC will summon the 4 Perikatan Nasional PN members of Parliament who have pledged their support for Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim soon. He said it is to investigate allegations of corruption to the switching of support. While a police report was lodged against the 4 MPs on Monday, Azam said the police referred the matter to the MACC for further investigations, since the report was more focused on elements of corruption.
Report polis telah dibuat, saya dimaklumkan dan saya juga telah dimaklumkan oleh pihak polis bahawa laporan berkaitan itu akan diserahkan kepada SPRM untuk menyiasat kerana unsur-unsur elemen itu dinyatakan unsur rasuah. Sama ada berlaku atau tidak, kami akan jalankan siasatan. Dan sini saya menyatakan bahawa kami kalau menyiasat, kita akan menyiasat at every corner. Termasuk juga kes-kes yang dahulu, yang mana ada MP-MP dahulu yang dikatakan melompat. So kalau kita nak siasat, kita akan siasat semua sekali dan untuk memberi keadilan kepada semua. Ya. Jadi buat masa ini kita menunggu laporan itu mungkin pada hari ini sampai kepada ke atas meja saya, dan saya akan arahkan siasatan terbuka dijalankan dalam tempoh terdekat ini.
The 4 Bersatu MPs who have stated their support for Anwar are Kuala Kangsar MP Datuk Iskandar Zulkarnain Abdul Khalid, Labuan MP Datuk Suhaili Abdul Rahman, Gua Musang MP Muhammad Azizi Abu Naim, and Jili MP Zahari Kecik. Azam was also asked whether or not the MACC would also investigate MPs linked to the so-called Sheraton move in 2020, which had been shrouded in allegations that politicians were offered various gratifications. The incident saw a number of MPs jumping parties, thus overthrowing the Pakatan Harapan government at the time, and was replaced by Perikatan Nasional with Tan Sri Muhyiddin as Prime Minister in 2020.
Adakah semua MP termasuk juga Sheraton Move yang...
Saya tidak menolak kemungkinan. Saya akan minta pegawai kita memanggil setakat mana mereka nak panggil.
The High Value Goods Tax (HVGT) legislation, which includes details about the threshold value and the scope of taxed products, is expected to be announced next year. Treasury Secretary General Datuk Johan Mahmud Merican said the new tax is set to be implemented in May next year.
But this is still going to be a process of consultation, so the exact revenue that we can collect will be a subject to the exact threshold and the scope of products we cover under luxury tax.
The HVGT for luxury items was announced by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim during the tabling of the 2024 budget. The tax is set at the rate of between 5 and 10%. Now, a total of 50,000 bags of certified paddy seeds will be approved on Friday, with 31,000 allocated to Muda Agricultural Development Authority, MADA, the Area Farmers Organization, PPK, and the remaining 19,000 to be distributed to Perlis and outside the rice belt of Kedah. Agriculture and Food Security Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Sabu said this is one of the drastic short-term measures taken by the ministry to ensure an adequate supply of certified paddy seeds and to control prices. According to the minister, the current demand for certified paddy seeds is 72,000 tons, or 3.6 million bags per year, with farmers enjoying an incentive of 1 ringgit 3 sen for every kilogram of certified paddy seeds purchased from government-appointed producers.
Bagi kegunaan di negeri Kedah dan Perlis dengan rekod pengeluaran 89,723 kampit benih pada 18 Oktober, 151,200 kampit pada 26 Oktober, 79,142 kampit benih pada 3 November dan 112,000 kampit benih pada 10 November.
He said, in addition, the ministry has also been monitoring and controlling the approval and laboratory processes for 12 certified paddy seed producers according to the standard operating procedures set by the departments and agencies before they are sold to farmers. As for long-term measures, Muhammad said the government will conduct a study to address the purchase prices of paddy and paddy seeds to ensure a win-win situation for all parties, including retailers and consumers. Muhammad also said the government is considering to raise the ceiling price of local white rice to address the issue of rice supply in the country. Zionist regime presses on with raid on Al-Shifa Hospital. News from the Foreign Front when we return. And we're back with the foreign front. After 4 unsuccessful attempts to take action, the United Nations Security Council on Wednesday called for urgent and extended humanitarian pauses in fighting between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip to allow aid access. The 15-member council overcame an impasse to adopt a resolution that demands compliance with international law, specifically the protection of civilians, especially children. It also calls on all parties not to deprive civilians in Gaza of basic services and humanitarian aid needed for their survival. Welcomes the initial limited deliveries of aid, but calls for that to be increased. The United States, Russia, and Britain, who are Council veto powers, abstained from the vote on the resolution drafted by Malta, whilst the remaining 12 members voted in favor. However, Russia abstained because there was no call for an immediate ceasefire.
This resolution is absolutely...
Zionist regime forces have raided Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital for a second day on Thursday, entering the medical complex housing thousands of patients, medical staff, and displaced Palestinians. Aid groups said they had lost touch with their teams inside the hospital, and repeated calls to doctors and workers there have gone straight to voicemail. According to a spokesman for the Gaza Health Ministry, soldiers and military machines are still around the hospital, and every now and then they go in and out of the complex for their operation. He also added that it was the 6th day without food and water in the complex. The Zionist regime have yet to provide concrete evidence of extensive Hamas infrastructure at the facility that precipitated the raid, and is under intense pressure to bolster its long-standing claims. Since the beginning of the Zionist rampage, more than 13,500 Palestinians have been killed. Meanwhile, the director of Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, Dr. Nahid Abu Taima, described on Thursday the situation at Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza as catastrophic, saying that they have lost contact with their medical staff inside the hospital. The situation on the second day of Israel's operation in Gaza's largest hospital has drawn international alarm, with hundreds of patients and thousands of other displaced civilians trapped inside without fuel, oxygen, or basic supplies.
المستشفيات في القانون العالمي محمية، هذه المستشفيات ولا يستطيع أحد اقتحامها، ولكن هذا العدو ضرب عرض الحائط بالقوانين الدولية واقتحم هذه المستشفيات ونكل ببعض المرضى والمصابين وببعض الكوادر الطبية، واعتقل البعض من الكوادر الطبية في الاقتحام الأول، والآن يقتحم مرة أخرى مجمع الشفاء الطبي، ومعرضة كوادرنا ومرضانا للخطر العالي من قبل هذا العدو الغاشم.
Meanwhile, in China, at least 26 people have died and dozens were sent to a hospital after a fire tore through an office building in the Shanxi province on Thursday. The accident occurred early in the morning at the Yongzhou Coal Industry Joint Building in the country's top coal-producing hub in Luliang City. The blaze appeared to have started in the 4-story building with offices and dormitories, and not where coal was being mined. Rescuers evacuated 63 people from the premises, 51 of whom were hospitalized, and brought the fire under control by the afternoon. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of the fire. Pearly Tinaa advance into the last 8. Sports after this breather. Welcome back. Sports football, the 2026 FIFA World Cup Asian qualifiers. Faisal Halim was hailed as a hero as Malaysia claimed a hard-fought 4-3 win at home to Kyrgyzstan in the Group D opener in Bukit Jalil on Thursday. Malaysia took the lead in the 7th minute after Dion Kools hammered in a corner by Arif Aiman. However, the lead diminished when Kyrgyzstan's Kairat Zilgalbek Ulu hit the net in the 42nd minute, followed by Ernest Batirkanov doubling the lead 2 minutes later. Malaysia faced another setback in the second half as Kai Merk extended the lead to 3-1 in the 57th minute. The national squad fought back and scored through an own goal from Christian Brausman in the 72nd minute. Malaysia managed to level the score through Kools 5 minutes later before Faisal Halim scored the winning goal in stoppage time, sealing victory for the national squad. Moving on to badminton, the 2023 Japan Masters. Malaysia's women's doubles Pearly Tinaa showed no sign of rustiness as they powered into quarterfinals on Thursday. World number 13, Pearly Tinaa, were in their element as they brushed aside Japan's Rui Hirokami Yunakato 21-17, 21-16 in just 41 minutes. They will next face another home pair, Rina Miyaura Ayako Sakuramoto, on Friday in their bid to reach the last 4. In mixed doubles, Chen Tangji To Wei labored to a 16-21, 21-13, 21-13 win over compatriots Go Sun-Huat, Siobhan Lai. The pair, however, will face a tall order as they will be up against China's #1, Zheng Siwei and Huang Yachong in the last 8. Meanwhile, Tan Kian Meng Lai Peijing advanced into the next round after upsetting South Korea's Kim Won-ho Jong Na-eun 21-14, 21-17. The duo will be aiming to end their 6-match losing streak to home favorites Japan's Yuta Watanabe, Arisa Higashino next. In the men's doubles event, Ong Yu-sin Teo Yi claimed a hard-fought 14-21, 21-15, 21-15 victory against Thailand's Paranyu Kausamang Warapo Tongsanga. The win earned them a match in the quarterfinals against Li Fangqi, Li Fangzhen of Taiwan. In the men's singles, national young shuttler Ng Zae-yong came up short this time in his bid to inflict a second straight defeat on world #1 Victor Axelsen. Zae-yong seemed poised for yet another sensational victory before Axelsen reversed the tide and ultimately secured a 2022, 21-11, 21-18 victory. When we return, man gets 38 years jail for raping daughters. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us. In Johor, a palm oil plantation worker was sentenced to 702 years in prison and 287 strokes of the cane after pleading guilty to 34 counts of raping and sexually assaulting his 3 daughters since 11 years ago. Muar Sessions Court Judge Abu Bakar Manat, however, allowed the prison sentence to run concurrently, and the 41-year-old accused will serve only 38 years behind bars. Section 288 of the Criminal Procedure Code also limits the maximum number of strokes of the cane to 24. The 3 siblings, now aged 12, 17 and 18, have been victims of their father's sexual abuse since 2012. As a result of his heinous acts, one of the victims became pregnant after the latest incident in June this year. In Pulau Pinang, the Marine Police Region 1 seized 24,500 cartons of contraband cigarettes worth 5.1 million ringgit, including tax, following an operation at a terrace house along Jalan Chung Lai Hock in Georgetown on Tuesday. Its commander, Assistant Commissioner Shamsul Qasim, said the success came 48 hours after a team from the Marine Intelligence Unit detected the rented house, which was believed to have been used to store the contraband goods. According to Shamsul, police conducted checks at the house and managed to seize the 4.9 million sticks of white cigarettes after surveillance revealed no movement in the house. It was believed that the contraband goods were smuggled into Malaysia by a syndicate from a neighboring country via sea route. The syndicate was also believed to often switch locations to avoid detection.
Commercial vessel from other country ini dia akan memperlahankan kelajuan dari tengah laut dan dia akan shifted to other vessel untuk menggunakan feeder masuk ke perairan Malaysia sama ada pantai barat daripada selatan hingga ke utara .
Shamsul also said they had handed over the matter to the Northeast District Police for further action. Authorities are currently tracking down the owner of the house. The seizure is the largest haul in the state so far this year. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at talented people around the globe who have been busy breaking records, doing all kinds of things from pogo sticking to hand skipping, and are being celebrated this Guinness World Records Day. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for watching and be well, Malaysia.